Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Educated Colonel Snap channel. How you doing? So today we're going to be talking about the new series pass card, Daken. So it just came out, and we've got a couple of opinions on it. Let's get started. So obviously, patch drops, a lot of cards for the season. Lady Deathstrike X-23 Silver Samurai also coming out. It's interesting because these cards technically do make Daken stronger. Lady Deathstrike maybe not so much, but X-23 and Silver Samurai are definitely viable cards. So it's even somewhat harder to fully guess how strong Daken will be. However, we can kind of learn from our experience with Spider-Man 2099 that new cards don't always mean, oh, it's gonna work perfectly with an archetype. It just might end up being too clunky. It might end up not like fitting in an elegant way. That we could theorize less. Yes, X-23 might make it better. Silver Samurai might make it better. But is it really going to be good enough that you're going to replace another card, right? Because that's really the difficulty with deck design. That every time you want to add a new card, you have to take a card out. So it there needs to be space or it needs to make sense, right? So obviously those are good cards, so it might make sense, but it might not be enough to justify changing anything. So I do think right now is still going to be a good analysis of how good Daken will be. For now, maybe in the future as new cards get added, things will change, but I still think we have a pretty good interpretation. So let's go into the card itself here. So Daken is a 3 energy, 4 power card with the on reveal. Add a Mirror Masa shard to your hand. Now, the Mirror Masa shard is a 1 energy, 1 power card. When it's destroyed or discarded, which is very important, you double Daken's power. So that's a pretty flexible effect, right? Being able to either be destroyed or discarded. I guess I have to go backwards here. So pretty powerful, I would say, and definitely has a lot of potential synergies because of its dual use cases, right? So it can be played in discard, it can be played in destroy as a base, and that just means there's a lot of different decks you can consider putting it in. So that has a lot of power. It's also a 3 cost card, meaning that you can just play it in Silver Surfer. So as well as discard destroy, you also have Silver Surfer to play this in, as well as its effect isn't that hard to trigger. There's a lot of flexible cards you can put in that just to trigger it without really hindering your deck design as well. I would say the most prominent one is just Killmonger. So you could just play Daken and Killmonger and put this in a lot of other deck lists. So it's not locked into a specific deck design because the way to activate it is fairly easy, in my opinion, that you can actually just put Daken in a lot of things. And a 3/8 base stats is very fair. Like not fair, but very good. If you can get the trigger off, right? 3/8 as a 3 drop, very good. So it has very good base stats, easy to trigger, very flexible. There's a lot of good things going for it. Plus, double its effect is very like powerful. Like it's not like oh +4 power or something like that, right? Which would be very similar, but it's not. It's double the effect, meaning that it double dips in any buffs that you give it. It double dips with any locations that buff it, and it double dips with just easy synergies to pull off. So this can easily be 10 plus power. With some effort, this can be 20 plus power, and it can scale from there. And if you add location RNGs, this could be crazy amounts of power. So there's just the potential. The ceiling of this card super high. Its baseline is very good. It's very strong, very flexible, fits in a lot of decks. You can tell where I'm going with this. Yes, I recommend this card. I think it has a strong first impression for me. It's a good series pass. Lots of decks, very flexible, fits in, makes new archetypes you cannot play with this card. That's like a big deal for me, and I just think it's worth the price. So we've kind of talked about some of the previous season pass cards, like Phoenix Force. I overall did not recommend it, and the one before that, do I even remember what the series pass was? I do recommend that. I wasn't like super sold on the one before, but I think this one is a very strong card to buy that's worth it. Like better than some of the previous ones we've had in in my opinion. So I do think this one I'm giving a strong yes. That it's definitely worth it if you're looking for good card value. This is a really powerful card, and I think it's hard to adjust it unless it's overwhelmingly performing better than other things. So I don't see this card being like changed recently unless this just has the best stats in the game. Like then maybe instead of being double it'll be +4 or something like that. Like I could see that happening because I do think like that is a little bit crazy, honestly. So I could see that being changed to mirror monster shard instead of giving you plus double, it just gives you +4. But other than that, I don't really see a lot of like ways that they're gonna change Daken in a meaningful like way where you feel like, oh my god, I don't want to play this card anymore. So I just think it's a good card, very safe, and I do recommend it. Now let's talk about some of the synergies. We always like to do this. This one is a little bit more mixed in of everything in here. Oh, I except okay. This should be Shadow King. Actually, we'll talk about Shadow King at some point. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Anyways, but there's a lot of little things. We've already talked about some of the synergies. But Forge, Shuri, any buff cards, right? That's what it represents. Can work with Daken since it double dips. So there's a lot of cards that you just give stats, right? Okoye does it, right? Nadina does it. So there's ways to give it even more stats, and it'll just double dip with the double effect. You've got Carnage for Destroy Synergies. So any Destroy Synergies, since the Mirror of Monster Shard needs to be destroyed, Carnage, Killmonger, any of those type of cards can easily proc it. Armor is more of like a defensive card where if you are going full, it works two ways. If you are going full double dipping, like you have 2 shards or something like that, then armor can protect you from the Shang-Chis that are always being played. Or if they are relying on using destroy to trigger the shard, then maybe the armor could be effective. The issue there is a lot of times you're going to play the shard and the destroy at the same turn. So they're just gonna play it in a non-armored lane, so it's not that effective for that. But it is something to consider if Wakanda or something is in a location you could really like limit their play patterns there. Hollow Wing is for discard, where with Silver Samurai also coming out, Color Wing also fits that niche where you destroy the lowest cost card. Shard is very easy to proc in both scenarios, so discard is going to have a pretty easy time getting the shard out of their hand if they want to do that. And Silver Surfer, of course, it's a 3-cost card. Any 3-cost card joins the Silver Surfer Club, and Daken is no exception. And Daken is really good in this particular case since Silver Surfer hits the card and then the double will work on it again. So that's really nice. Cosmo is just a nice answer if you're playing into like Silver Surfer Daken, right? Since a lot of their cards rely on the on reveal effect, then Cosmo could be a nice tool. A lot of people are playing Wong as well right now, so they play Wong, you play Cosmo, Wong, Wong, Wong. So that's definitely something you can do. Beast is a tech. I wouldn't say it's super elegant in that Daken's 3 cost, so it's pretty expensive to bounce it back. But you do get another shard, and it's easy to play like Carnage bounce. But it's not something I'd super recommend. It's just something that's available if you want to be like a pioneer or something like that. But I don't think it's like super. I don't think it's better than some of the other options, so I wouldn't like recommend it. But it's there. Moon Girl, I think it's pretty obvious. You can copy the shard. It's a very easy way to get 2 shards and then pop it there. Absorbing Man, I think, is nice, especially with the buff. I'm not sure they were thinking about Daken when they made the buff, but it fits perfectly. You play Daken on 3, Absorbing Man on 4, you get a second shard. Very easy to do. And with it being 5-cost base, it's not that much of a tempo loss, and you get it right back with destroying or discarding the shard. So that's a very easy thing to do there. And then Phoenix Force, this one is kind of hard. So once again, kind of like Beast, is that it requires a lot of little tools. Like the ordering is like super hard, where you have to go Daken into Destroy into Phoenix on 5 into like double Destroy on 6, right? Which is like that's too much. You're hoping for too much in a regular game to get all of that. So that one I'm not super fan of, but if you can do that, it's really powerful. So that's something to keep in mind. Iron Lad is also pretty good if you hit Daken, so it's just another good Iron Lad hit. And you always wanted Iron Lad decks with lots of good hits, and Daken fits that perfectly. So that's something you could definitely consider if you're playing that, you know, with Killmonger or something like that. And then Shadow King was the last one that I wanted to put in there, where that's another counter to Daken. If you're seeing Daken run amok, everyone's just going full Daken. Well, then Valkyrie, Shadow King, those type of cards to reduce power can be a very nice counter tool to put in there. So definitely consider that. I may as well just put Shadow King in here. You know, so it's definitely something to consider if you are seeing a lot of it and it's annoying you to no end. However, there's what I really like about this card is that there's a lot of different decks you could build with it. So when I was like kind of looking, and the stats are very good as well. Like the stats are really reasonable. So definitely think this, once again, think this is a very safe card to pick up if you are looking for good cards to buy with the season pass. This one I have check mark. So Phoenix Force, not so much, but this one, yes. So first one we have here is the Silver Surfer Daken deck. So this one takes advantage of Wong, takes advantage of Absorbing Man to kind of fully dive into this double combo, Wong combo. So you can do Wong into Daken, Wong into Silver Surfer, Wong into Daken into Absorbing Man into Silver Surfer. That's a little bit too much. You can also do Wong into Silver Surfer, Absorbing Man. That's also pretty cool. So there's a lot there. And you do have the Okoye for the buffs. The Okoye also hits the Brood, which I think is just good. And Colin Wing is if you don't have the Killmonger to destroy, then you can go Colin Wing to proc it, and you can once again also put it in Wong if you needed to proc twice if you have 2 shards. So there's a lot of elegance in here, and your Daken gets really big, and then you still have the Brood synergies that get really big, and you just have a lot of like threats in this particular deck. So I think it's a pretty nice, good shell base for Daken to fit in. Gambler, I mean, Gambit is an annoying card. We all know that. It also can discard the shard, so you have another option to trigger if your hand is pretty empty. So there's a lot of going for it here. So I like this list as well. Next up, we do have just Destroy package. So if you don't want to play Silver Surfer, you can put it in Destroy. So it's a Silver Surfer Destroy here. So the first one was Silver Surfer discard. This one's Silver Surfer destroy. So here you've got your Broody, your Carnage, and your Venom and Deathlock, but you still get the Daken synergies. It's not all in Daken or Wong combo, so there's no Wong or anything like that. But you do just get your consistent destroy synergies with your Silver Surfer Brood. So it's just a nice little safer version of the deck. It's less high rolly, but it has more of a base. Like most of your draws are going to be good. You're not going to be like, oh my god, this card does nothing. So there's definitely something you can do. See if it works out for you, and if you like destroy. Next up, we do have more pure destroy. So this isn't relying on Silver Surfer. This is just a destroy deck. You get to play Death, which is very nice. And Daken is also pretty good with the synergies of Hulk Blaster, with the synergies of because I believe Hulk Blaster will give you another shard because it'll proc Daken again. So that's something to do. And then you also have Deadpool. You have just regular destroy synergies. So it's not anything too confusing. If you like destroy and you don't want to add Silver Surfer in, this is just a nice way. And you can see this is a very normal destroy deck, but instead of running usually Shang-Chi's what's running here, you're running Daken. So it's nothing too you, and that goes to show you the flexibility of the card. You can just put it in and without changing too much, and it works perfectly well. So kind of like that about it. Next up, we have discard. I don't know. They start with these, and you know how it is. But this one does also work very well here, where you're running Daken. So this one runs the Absorbing Man combo, because Daken into Absorbing Man is just very easy, very elegant. And then MODOK will also discard everything, which will discard all the shards. So it's very easy, very clean. Once again, very flexible. You don't have to change too much about the discard shell to make Daken work very well. You're only really adding the Absorbing Man. Everything else really stays the same. So it's not like you're reliant on Daken here, where a lot of decks where you're making new decks, you're relying on drawing that new card. And if you don't draw that new card, you've kind of the rest of the deck doesn't function. But because you're just putting Daken into a deck that already works well, it's not relying on drawing that Daken to win the game. If you don't draw Daken, you're still fine. You know, same thing with a lot of the other decks here. If you don't draw Daken here, you're still fine. You know, same. You know, if you don't draw Daken here, you're kind of fine. I would say here you kind of need Daken, and I would say here you don't need Daken, but it helps. So the Silver Surfer ones are pretty more heavily Daken focused here, because a lot of the, like, especially this one, I would say is the most Daken reliant, because a lot of your other decks, a lot of your other cards are kind of built around Daken existing, right? With Okoye, you know, you kind of want the Daken. Cullen Wings, right? You also want the Daken, right? Wong, Absorbing Man. So this one is pretty reliant, right? But the other ones, these ones are fine without it, and that's the appeal, right? You can make a deck that's reliant on Daken, but you don't have to, and they both still work, is the point there. And then the last one here is, I would say this one's also kind of relying on Daken as well here. So this one is a MODOK like finisher deck where you're relying on MODOK to kind of give you that win condition. So you have the Zabu to get out your Captain Marvel, to get out your Strong Guy, and Strong Guy's played here because with MODOK you're going to have no cards. So you play MODOK on 5, Strong Guy pops, and then your swarms maybe pop, and then turn 6 you play Chavez double swarm, and that's your final turn, you know, and everything else will be discarded. So that's the kind of idea here. It's like, okay, I played MODOK, boom, I summon all my trap cards, you know, go Strong Guy, go Daken Shard, go Swarms, go Wolverine, Morbius is buff. You know, let's go. You know, everything pops off after you play your MODOK. So that's definitely something that you can do here as well. And I really like that. There's a lot of different decks to build. And this, keep in mind, this is without X23. This is without Silver Samurai. So there's more potential for Daken to be even better than this. But already so far, it's really good in my opinion. So definitely recommend getting this card. Think it's strong. Think it's a good card. And wouldn't be surprised to see more powerful decks showing up with this. So that's my first impressions of this card. Fully recommended if you like getting season passes and you like supporting second editor, blah, 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 blah. Feel free. But that's my thoughts on the new card. Excited to play more with it. So take care of yourselves. Hope you guys enjoyed and have a wonderful rest of your day. Da 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 da. That wasn't intentional. Just...
Once you watch him, you won't go back. He'll teach you to marvel snap. Your skills will be improving. How you do when you'll hit infinity and won't go back.